Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is the first of the month, which means it's kit building time. We are going to be inspired by the Felicity Kit by Tracy Reed, so let's just dive right in. All right, before I do any kit building, I do walk through the inspiration and start gathering some thoughts, and I do that out loud so that you can see what I've got going on in my head. Our inspiration kit is the Felicity Digital and Printable Scrapbook Kit by Tracy Reed. If you don't know Tracy Reed, she designs scrapbooking products for companies, as well as digital and printable scrapbooking supplies under her own branding. I do own this kit in particular, but plenty of Tracy Reed supplies in general, and I am a fan, so I am happy to be using this kit. I did consider just printing what I own of this kit and going for it, but instead of doing that, I will walk you through how I can be inspired to create a hybrid kit using elements from the printables that she has, as well as things that I have in my stash, so I can continue using up my stash on hand. All right, so this is kind of an overview of the kit. She does a video walkthrough of things. This is a graphic of the specifically digital kit. The very first thing I notice about this kit is the color palette, because it is a very bold color palette with these rich blues, rich corals, rich greens. So that is the first thing that jumps out at me. And then I start looking at some elements. We've got butterflies, flowers, not only these wood veneer pieces, but if you look a little more carefully, we've got these kind of little emoji wood veneers, which is fun. Ooh, and down here, there's some arrow wood veneers. I like all of that wood veneer stuff. My wood veneer stash is running kind of low. And that's the thing about this counterfeit kit project, is that you start using your stash and you start using up things. So I'll have to see what I've got left there. This little button-styled alphabet, along with other little button pieces. Okay, that's going on. Let's keep looking. Now, these parts are specifically designed to be printed, so you do have full 12 by 12 papers. I do not have a 12 by 12 printer, so I will print papers in 8.5 by 11 size, and that works for me. I mean, I tend to cut down my papers anyway, so I don't always need a full 12 by 12 sheet. If I do, I'll go to my cardstock stash or just pull in stuff from my supplies. So I'm totally good with printing digital stuff in a smaller size. I did kind of go past the papers a little too fast. Let's look at patterns and colors. Well, the colors are already there, but a good multicolor stripe. Love it. Here is, craft. There is some craft going on in here, which that kind of comes out of that wood veneer scene. So white on craft. We've got some teeny tiny hearts. I don't think I have, pardon my phone. I don't think I have anything along those lines. I like this green polka dot. I don't think I have anything along those lines either. Let's see. I like this deep blue with white. Again, I'm not going to have a lot of luck, I think, finding things in my stash. I don't have anything like that. I do have green checks. I should have green checks in my stash. I can always pull plain craft and then work with that. I love this bold diagonal stripe. Again, I don't think I have anything going on there. Totally love this plus sign pattern, which is kind of common in things these days. I don't have anything going on there. There's becoming a theme to this kit build that I've got. I was about to scroll past it, but let's look at some of these icons. I really like these floral, kind of doodled floral. So that is something I'm definitely loving. Here is some more printable elements. While I don't use Traveler's Notebook pages in Traveler's Notebooks, I will sometimes print out this size for journaling. And then this is her section that is what she calls stickers. I print them out kind of as die-cut elements. I use the thickest cardstock that my printer will accept, and then you can print those. And she does have a file that has outlines for fussy cutting, or you can use these files in digital cutters like Cricut and the Silhouette and have that cut out for you. I do it that way because I have a machine, but you can definitely cut them out by hand if you don't. So I will likely print and cut some of these elements. I may set up some of these digital elements as print and cuts also, because I know how to do that. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Okay, icons. We touched on that a little bit with butterflies, emojis, flowers. I'm noticing more hearts in this section. There was a pattern paper with this pattern on it with little hearts, big hearts, big hearts. A little bit of banner pieces. She always has various word banners and tabs like that in her collections. Okay, so let's think about theme a little bit. I'm noticing the words like today, currently. I think this is a pretty open-ended general life theme, and that works perfectly for me because I don't like super themed things. All right, so those are my thoughts, my ideas. I'm going to write these down on my little cheat sheet so I can keep track of things as I'm pulling stash. And let me go down to my craft room and do that. All right, we can finally get to my kit build. Now I'm going to start with the papers like I always do. I'm going to put the graphic up with the inspiration papers and go from bottom to top as we go along. So that first one was a floral print, and I pulled out 3 options that were kind of interesting to me in my stash, and I still can't decide. So I'm going to move on to the next print, which is that green foliage print. I pulled out a peach foliage and 2 green ones. I eliminate the middle one right away because it just feels too grungy looking. And so between those, I still can't decide. So I'm going to wait until I have more papers chosen. I'm going to skip that little heart print because I didn't have anything like that. I'm moving on to that white text on craft. And I pulled out a couple of options. I pick one right away and set the others off to the side. So next up is my stripe. Now my stripe doesn't perfectly match what's got going on there, but I'm glad I got even close. I skipped kind of a mixed media page, moved on to the polka dots, and I have this very pale polka dot with mostly peach, and then this more bold polka dot with mostly green. And if I go back to these foliage prints, I'm not sure which combination I want. Maybe a lighter polka dot with a darker green, and maybe a bolder polka dot with with the peachy foliage. I'm not sure. But that blue foliage print was easy, as was the peach kind of plaid print. So those came out. I'm skipping that little rainbow print, moving on to the next craft print that is a foliage. I did have some more options here, but I'm going to go with this really old paper that has some yellow in it that goes with the stripe. And I think that's from Scenic Route. So really old paper. Now, I made that green plaid, which we'll talk about more if you come back on the 4th. So next up was another floral print. And then after the green plaid was a heart print. So I kind of combined those 2 ideas with this one floral print. It has the spots of highlighted icons, and it has flowers instead of hearts. All right, moving on to that green plaid. I had a couple of greenish plaids, and I chose the one that had green and blue in it so that it would be more flexible. And then that blue stripe, while I loved the color and the diagonalness, I didn't have anything as close as I would like it. So I'm going to go with a plaid that's got some diagonalness to it because I like that shape. And then I skipped another floral and a polka dot, and there was another plaid option. I just skipped that because I was feeling like my kit is big enough. I did create this plus sign paper, which we'll talk about more on the 4th, along with some other product creations. And then I'm going to fan out my papers and see about those ones that I set aside, what else needs to go. I feel like I have enough peach, so I eliminated that. I feel like I have enough whiteness to my kit, so I eliminated that. And I'm going to keep the greens because I didn't feel like I had enough green in the kit yet. I still had those 3 florals at the beginning that I hadn't decided between. And I'm going to keep the more bold one just because I think it's fun and I don't tend to use that kind of paper. So that wraps up the papers. Let's move on to embellishments. The first thing I grabbed with this was this Concord and Ninth die and stamp set, and it has some emoji icons on there, as well as some phrases that go with the theme of the kit and a little banner piece so I can create my own banners as I need them and put the phrases on that I want. Along that same line, this is an SAT branded product that has the word beautiful in a die cut that goes with mixing and matching those stamped phrases. And again, it's that general happy life. And I did pull out another banner set so that it would fit any of the phrases that I want to use, including this stamp set, which is an Ellie Studio stamp set. And all of these stamps are great to use for scrapbooking and creating that happy life vibe with stamps and banners. So I'm going to do that. And next up is some wood veneer. I picked flowers, hearts, and then some arrows and stars that are just a little bit of extra. And it kind of goes with the little starburst on that Concord and Ninth set. Now, something I noticed in the digital kit, which I didn't mention when I was doing that walkthrough, but I know about Tracy Reed, is that she includes kind of quote unquote fibers in her digital kit. So I did go ahead and pull out some physical fibers so that I can add those in my kit. I pulled out some buttons to go with some of those elements that I mentioned, and then some puffy elements in hearts that go along with the kit very nicely, even though there weren't specifically, enamel/puffy elements in there. And then I did print out some of the Tracy Reed items. I skipped over the things that I knew I was going to do with stamps or kind of make myself. Um, so I just mixed and matched some of her printable items and print and cut those out. Now, I do have a couple of things that I did make myself. And again, we'll talk about that more on the 4th. Now, one other element that I wanted to add, I was inspired by those pieces out of the Tracy Reed supplies, which looked like they were taped down with washi tape. So I did go ahead and grab some washi. Fibers and washi are things that I have mentioned recently that I haven't been using enough of. So I did want to put those in there. And then after I stopped filming, I realized I never pulled out an alphabet set, and I made myself a list and then I promptly ignored it. So here is what I've got going on for alphabets. And that will wrap up my kit for this time around. I hope you got something useful out of listening to my process and walking you through how I build kits from inspiration. And I hope you will come back on the 4th for creating some of our own elements, and then for the rest of the month of inspiration to use up this kit. So until next time, have an artful day.